Hi, thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to look at mixing kick and bass in a full rhythm. I'm going to use the same piece of music that I used in the Soft Tube American Class A demo and show you how I would spend a little more time on it than what I did in that demo and what my basic thought process is when attacking kick and bass. It's something people struggle with, I struggle with at times, and I have a lot in the past, of course, because you want to be able to feel that kick and you also want a nice heavy bass. Basically, my thinking is just to make them work together. I I'm just going to try and create the end sound that I want. I'm not too worried about really which one's lower or which one's going to really occupy this space or that space. I just see how they sound when I start, and I take it from there and start trying to make them work together and work in the track. All right, let's go. Okay, we're going to take a listen to the track, play it with all the elements in, then we're going to solo the kick and the bass and start working on it. I'm just using stock Cubase plugins here just to say that you don't need anything special to get the sound that you're after. Okay, you don't need some special EQ or special compressor. Most likely what comes with your DAW is probably going to be plenty good to achieve the mix that you want. All right, here we go. Right, so we have to start somewhere. We're going to start with the kick here. We're going to start with some compression. We're going to turn this off. This just gives me a hard knee instead of the soft knee. Adjust the ratio up around 6 somewhere. And I'm going to tune this compressor. I'm just going to put the release all the way down. I'm going to put this from RMS to peak. So I want it to I want it to work on the peaks like you would with a compressor for percussion, okay, rather than working on the average level. Attack all the way down. So we're going to play the kick and we're going to fine tune it from here. Going to bring the threshold down so it's going to have a lot more compression and it's going to be kicking in a lot faster than how we're going to want it when we're done here. So it is super squashed there. Going to start adjusting the attack. Okay, I'm okay with that, but we're going to lower the threshold again because it's still way too much compression there, okay? So I'm going to take it down to maybe 3 to 4 dBs or so of compression. Let's hear it without. Okay, apart from the volume change there, it just sounds a lot tighter, a lot more impact on the hit than it was previously. So we're going to keep it like that and move on to some EQ. First thing I like to do is some subtractive EQ, and generally down somewhere, you know, in the 600 to the 200 range with a a live sounding kick like as this one is, you're going to want to pull out some frequencies. And I'm liking that a lot better already. That alone, just that cut alone, is cleaning up the kick for me, getting rid of a bunch of boxiness. Let's just hear it with and without that. So that's without the cut. And with the cut. Next thing, once I get that cleaned up, I like to add the low end and then some high end. So let's just go right ahead with that. Right. Gonna put a little bit of high pass on this. Let's move this up somewhere around 40, high 30s is good enough. Just to get it out of the real sub frequencies. That boost that I gave the kick there at 60 hertz, you're gonna feel that after when you're playing it out on a good set of speakers, okay? And that's what you want. You want to feel that thump in your chest. I am going to add a little bit of a gate, although it's not going to make a big difference here really in the final mix, but I'm just going to clean up the other drum sounds that are bleeding through. Right, happy with that. Let's add in the bass now and work that along with the kick. Going to put some compression on first. I want the soft knee on it this time. Not going to put the ratio too high, maybe around 3 to 4. And again, I'm going to overdo it and adjust it. It's not normally the way I work it. I'm doing it for you. If you're not accustomed to using compressors and you're not hearing what they do, the best way to hear them is to overdo it and then dial it back, right? And then turn it off, turn it on, make sure that you're happy with it. So we're going to work it like that. Right, I'm happy with that. Again, for this, we are soft knee, not pushing the ratio as high as we did on the kick. And we're using RMS so that it's working on the average sound of the kick, of the bass, the average level, rather than just sensing the peaks and compressing on the peaks. With this particular compressor, you can mix them back and forth a bit if you want to, but I'm not bothering to use that for this. And I'm happy with that. We're probably around or a little below 6 dBs of compression there. As long as the bass is sounding smooth, then it's all right. I'm going to add in a little bit of tape effect here. This is Cubase's built-in stock tape plugin, Magneto 2. And I'm going to bring it up to where we're hearing the distortion, and then I'm going to dial it back a bit to where you're just not quite. And it's just going to help catch any peaks there and level out the bass a little bit more again. All right, we're going to go with some EQ now on the bass. Going to put some low pass on this, down around 2 kilohertz or so. All right. And then a little bit of high pass, like about 25 hertz, just to get any super low rumble just out of the way. Okay, I don't want to cut too much on the low end. I know for different styles of music, a lot of people say, you know, cut at 40, cut everything at 50. Not doing that with reggae. I want to feel that low end. So I'm going to go ahead with some EQ. Same thing. First off, I'm going to do a little subtractive EQ to clean up the bass a bit. Let's bypass that and turn it back on. See if it's sounding cleaner or not. So again, as with the kick, a little subtractive EQ makes a huge difference. I say a little, but you know, it's 8 dBs here, and I think we had about 13 on the kick. This narrower band here on the bass, because I don't want to be pulling out the low frequencies or the fundamentals down below that. It's sounding good. We are going to add a little real low end. I'm going to keep it on a shelf, and we're going to go on down to around 30 hertz or so and give that a little boost, and then we'll work on the mids a bit. Right, that's sounding good to me. Got some nice heavy bottom, and you know, that little boost up around 1 kilohertz there, just bringing back in a little bit more of the attack, a little bit of the finger on the string. I'm using flat wound strings on this, so there's not a lot of high end, and I really have the high end rolled off when I'm recording anyways. So it is really cut. If I just bypass this, so as you can see on the spectrum when I'm playing it with the filters off and everything, There's nothing really up in this high end area. Right, that is sounding nice. Let's turn these on with the rest of the track and fit them in, adjust the levels a bit. All right, to me, I believe that's sounding pretty good there. You can hear the kick as it's playing. You could feel it if you're playing it out on some speakers. As you add in all the elements, you're going along a mix. I mean, I've mixed this song, so I'm putting in the kick and bass and adjusting it last to suit. It's not uncommon. I go back lots of times, and you're adjusting the level of the kick, the level of the bass, the EQ a little bit sometimes, especially on the kick as more high-end elements come in, and you want to be able to hear that snap come through. You're sometimes going back and adjusting the high end, or adding in a fourth band and boosting some more highs up on that kick again. But this is sounding nice right now. So that's basically the way I approach kick and bass. Just make them work together, make them sound good. That's it. Don't concern yourself too much with which one's higher, which one's lower. Start going on it. Work it out as you go along. Make it sound the way that those sounds are sounding. Make it work together. That's really all you have to do. Right, so you've got quite a range there with the bass, where you can go up and down a few dBs. None of it is right or wrong. It's where you want it to be for your track. You work it out. You can certainly lower it a little bit if it's clashing with your bass. You're having struggles. With the kick, lower your bass a little bit if you need to. If you can't get it exact. The big thing for me is just learning something out of what you're doing, out of your mix, moving on to the next song, apply what you learned and learn more. So, don't let the lack of perfection stop you from moving on. Do your best, move on to another song, start over fresh again. All right, thanks for checking it out. We're going to groove our way out a little bit here.